What's up, everybody? Your friendly neighborhood critter researcher here, again, talking about the dark and ancient past of Crytter Country. Okay, just kidding. We are kind of talking about Crytter Country's ancient history, but more specifically, the game itself, the design, where we started, where we've been, and where we are now. So that's going to be a fun little topic, and probably going to show my ass a little bit here. So this is going to be, well, here we go. Getting started, taking a look at the old card design. So this was the original card frame UI that I drew on paper and then scanned in way back before I knew how to do anything in terms of graphic design or even knew about the website Dexterous. Shout out to Dexterous. I love using that site for UI design for my cards. Yeah, so the cards, shamefully to say, had a lot going on. So there was a hit point stat, much like now, a speed stat, much like now, although they were both in the double digits. There was additionally a stamina stat. Stamina was an individual stat that needed to be tracked on its own, just like hit points, and critters would use their stamina for their different moves or abilities during a tussle. With 4 abilities and trackable stamina, all in the double digits, all across the way. Early games of Crytter Country took upwards of 2 hours, and I am not proud to say that. So that was an experience, to say the least. Learning how to learning how to cut down from there has been a constant exercise with the game. We can kind of see that here with the next level of card design, I'll say. Can take a look at Snaggart here. As you can see, we've pared down to 2 moves and a passive. Still really holding on to that stamina system, though. I held on to that for an embarrassing amount of time, I think, and definitely showed in early playtests how grating that. So just if there's any aspiring game designers out there, if your players say something is really annoying, listen to them, because that is not something that they will want to experience again. So that was fun. Additionally, the way that adapting worked, I kind of held on to for a really long time. The next iteration of the card is definitely a lot cleaner, a lot closer to what we have now. I think in this era, a lot of the abilities that I made kind of ended up staying through to the final, I'll say, current build of the game. So this has been a very interesting. I think I played with this version the most as far as Crytter Country goes. This version was it was good. I think this is where the bones of Crytter Country kind of started. This is about where people started playing the game, latching onto it, and getting an idea for what I was going for. At this point, there was still a lot going on. You can see that there are way too many things happening on the cards. This was back when there were multiple tussle phases, and you could use more than one move at a time. It was just a crazy, wacky time. Speed was king, still kind of is now. We're working on that, but it was much worse back then, if you can believe that. It was a different time. Taking a look at something from the Crytter Country graveyard, the research facility / site / expedition, it's been many things over the course of the game, and each one exposed a new problem with the system I was trying to possess. So in short, I was trying to have some form of like location or expedition card, much like many games try to do now. And it had a few iterations. Some of them were more specific to, as you can see on the board, the critters themselves. You would play them to the field, and they would go behind the critter that you were researching. There was also like a kind of like a pseudo bench, much like Pokemon, that you would swap critters back and forth between. All feedback kind of ended up being that nobody wanted to divert their attention away from the field, from what was actually happening with the critters fighting, which makes sense. In retrospect, made a lot of sense. The players were dividing their attention between a lot of places, and there was already a lot to parse, as you could have, as you saw earlier with the card text and the massive amount of moves and abilities that were available. So we moved away from that and into a more direct system. We've gone ahead and removed what had eventually become an entire zone where cards were placed, and chopped that away. Everything has really been streamlined to focus on discovering critters, adapting them, and tussling with them, because that's what players want to do. and that makes sense. That's the most fun part of the game. Uh, so let's go ahead and talk about something that I think has been on everyone's mind, and that's the art. And I get what everyone is probably thinking at this point. Hey, this looks like it was drawn by somebody who can't draw, and that's correct. I don't know how to draw. I never really learned growing up. Like I always doodled, but I was never trying to do art in a I don't even want to say professional sense, even in like a hobbyist sense. I think I was always kind of just more doodling when bored, and I always had a passion for drawing, but I never really pursued it. I would draw dinosaurs and stuff, and I think that much is kind of obvious from how I draw a lot of the critters. Um, but yeah, I definitely am not an artist. At least before I started making this game, I don't think I would have called myself one. I feel a little differently now. I think my last couple speed draws have been I've been a fan of them. But let's take a look at where we started. So, taking a look and getting started here, let's take a look at Davimp. Look at this little guy. Nice, neat little alien. Just chilling in the woods. A lot wrong here. I'm not gonna go ahead and sit here and critique the entire piece. But yeah, this is where he started. Let's go ahead and take a look at what will be replacing Davimp. So still Davimp, but this artwork done by the wonderful Ellery Rosewood illustrations is the direction that Critter Country will be going in. This is more the art style you can expect from other cards. She will be doing more cards for the game, thankfully. I look forward to seeing what those look like. Uh, so you can see here that Dovimp has evolved quite a bit throughout the game's life cycle. Um, Additionally, she is not the only artist that will be working on the game or that has done work for the game. I hope to have a variety of artists. Some of my artwork I think I will keep maybe for my own purposes, but I think for the most part we'll be replacing a lot of the artwork in Critter Country. So we're still kind of deciding on a style. These works, for example, done by the amazing CM Kozman, uh, might not make it into the final set as they're a little bit outside of the tone I think we're going for the game, but I had them done this way because I thought they looked cool. And they do. So this may be some form of alternate art that you end up seeing in some kind of promotional material or maybe on a card itself. Who knows? Right now, we are using it in the tester cards just because it looks so awesome. But yeah, that's kind of what you can expect going forward from the art of Critter Country, anyways. We are really hoping to get some more pieces done so that we can show you what the finished cards look like. I'm planning an entire rework of the UI because I know that even in its current iteration, it is not the best. And that is something that I am taking feedback on. So, by all means, if you have any lingering thoughts or questions, if you have any ideas for how the UI can shift and look a little better in its current iteration, let me know. And if there are any major changes coming up, which there will be, you'll find out this Friday. So stay tuned for a gameplay video, and thanks for watching. Saw another one of them today. TV men, the boys have been calling them. They never do much. At least it don't seem like it. Just kind of wander around staring at stuff. If they do stare, that is. I'm not sure they do stare, or rather that they can. I don't think they have eyes behind those screens. They wander around. They might bump into a thing or two. They never fall down, though. That's always interesting. They never fall down, no matter what they bump into. They just stumble and keep walking. I don't know who or what decides what channel they play, but it's never good. Always the news, or depressing documentaries. I reckon you could change the channel on them if you get close enough, but the moment anyone can get close enough, they headbutt you into the next life. Sometimes you see one of them TV men hanging around with some poor fella or lady hanging out their screen. Sometimes, on really rare nights, you can see a TV man with 4 legs instead of 2. The TV man leaves us well enough alone, but we can never seem to return the favor. Our curiosity's been killing us since they showed up a year ago, leaving CRTs on our porches in the middle of the night, disappearing without so much as a hello. That was before things started changing. A lot of people threw out those CRTs. They didn't really have a use for them. A lot of those CRTs ended up getting resold to pawn shops before they caught wind of what was going on. Some people, I'll never be able to tell you why they did it, but some people decided after a while to just put those CRTs on their head. And if they couldn't make them fit, well, they would make them fit. That was never a pretty sight. No one ever really knew why people would go and do something like that anyways. Randomly, unprovoked. Every once in a while, hell even now, someone might take one of them TVs. If they couldn't find one, they would go and find one. Smash it smack dab onto their skull. Now the TV men wander, not doing much until someone gets the nerve to acknowledge them or, God forbid, try and turn one of the bastards off. Long as we leave them well enough alone, the TV men don't do nothing but stare.